Teacher called me Catherine because she couldn't bother to learn my name, so I called her by her first name for the rest of the year. In 6th grade, I had this math teacher named Ms. White who was super strict about everything. Like, she'd give you detention if you were 1 minute late to class or if your homework had a single wrinkle in it. My name is Kau'i, it's Hawaiian. And yes, I know it looks hard to say, but it's literally just Kau'i, 3 syllables. That's it. First day of school, Ms. White is doing attendance. She gets to my name and just stops, stares at it for like 10 seconds. Then she goes, how do you say this? I smile and say really nicely, it's Kau'i. She looks at me like I just spoke another language, which I guess technically I did, but still. Then she says the most insane thing I've ever heard from a teacher. I'll just call you Catherine. I sat there completely frozen. Did she really just give me a whole new name? Like, who does that? My best friend Maya looked at me with her mouth hanging open. Even the other kids were shocked. Our school was super diverse. We had kids from everywhere, and this teacher just decided my Hawaiian name was too hard, so she'd rename me Catherine. No offense to anyone named Catherine. It's a great name, but it's not my name. My name means beauty in Hawaiian. My grandma picked it out. It's been in my family for generations. And this random math teacher just decided it didn't matter. For the first 2 weeks, I didn't say anything. I was too shocked. Plus, I was raised to respect teachers and not cause problems. But every time she called me Catherine, it felt like someone was scratching a chalkboard in my brain. She'd be like, Catherine, what's the answer to number 5? Or, Catherine, please pass out these worksheets. And I'd just die a little inside each time. Maya kept telling me I should say something, but I didn't know what to do. Then one day I'm sitting in class and Ms. White calls me Catherine again. And I just snapped. Not like yelling or anything, but I decided if she wasn't gonna respect my name, I wasn't gonna respect hers either. So I went home and looked in last year's yearbook, found her staff photo, and there it was, her first name, Jessica. The next day in class, I raised my hand. Jessica, I have a question about number 7. The entire classroom went silent, like dead silent. You could hear the clock ticking. Ms. White's face turned bright red. She goes, that's Ms. White. I just smiled and said, oh, sorry, I thought we were using first names now, and went back to my worksheet. My friend Maya was trying so hard not to laugh, she was practically choking. For the rest of class, I kept doing it. Jessica, can you explain this problem? Hey, Jessica, do we have homework tonight? Every single time she'd correct me, that's Ms. White, and every single time I'd ignore her and keep calling her Jessica. She never yelled at me. She'd just get this annoyed look on her face and repeat Ms. White through gritted teeth. But here's the thing. She never once tried to learn my actual name. Not once. So I kept going. Started getting creative with it too. Some days she was Jessie, other days she was Jess, sometimes JJ. Once I even called her Jessica Lynn because I found her middle name on the school directory. The other kids thought it was hilarious. They started whispering about it in the hallways. Even some of the other teachers heard about it. Ms. White clearly hated it. You could see it in her face every time I said her first name. But she couldn't really punish me for it because technically I wasn't breaking any rules, I wasn't being disrespectful, I was just calling her by her actual name. Meanwhile, she kept calling me Catherine for the entire year. Every single day. Never learned my real name. Never even tried. At the end of the year, I thought that was it. I'd never have to deal with her again. But 2 years later, I heard Ms. White got fired. Apparently, I wasn't the only student she did this to. She'd been giving kids English names instead of learning their actual names. Telling kids their culture wasn't important. Making comments about students' lunches and clothes. The school called it microaggressions. I called it being a terrible teacher. When I heard she got fired, I wasn't even surprised. Maya texted me like, remember when you called her Jessica for a whole year? That was the best. And honestly, I'd do it again.